Once upon a time, in a friendly little town filled with colorful houses and blooming gardens, there lived a young boy named Sammy and his loyal dog, Witty. Sammy had bright, curious eyes and a big, cheerful smile that made everyone around him feel happy. Witty was a fluffy white dog with the softest fur, floppy ears, and a tail that wagged with excitement every time he saw Sammy. Sammy and Witty were the best of friends. They did everything together, playing in the yard, reading stories, and exploring new places. But there was one thing they loved most of all: going on adventures. Every day felt like a new adventure when Sammy and Witty were together. One Saturday morning, Sammy woke up to the sound of birds chirping outside his window. The sun was shining, and a gentle breeze carried the sweet smell of flowers into his room. Sammy stretched, yawned, and looked down to see Witty already awake, wagging his tail and ready for a new day. "Good morning, Witty," Sammy said, giving his furry friend a hug. "What should we do today?" Witty barked softly and licked Sammy's cheek. Sammy giggled and patted Witty's head. Then, as he looked out the window, Sammy saw something he had never noticed before: a little path winding behind the row of tall bushes at the edge of his backyard. "Look, Witty. There's a path we haven't explored yet. Let's go on a backyard adventure," Sammy said excitedly. Sammy quickly got dressed, put on his favorite blue cap, and grabbed his small backpack. He filled it with a water bottle, some apple slices, and a notebook with a pencil for drawing anything interesting they might find. Witty wagged his tail and waited by the door, ready to go. They stepped outside into the warm sunshine. The grass felt soft under their feet, and the air was filled with the gentle hum of bees and the flutter of butterflies. Sammy and Witty walked to the edge of the yard, where the tall bushes grew thick and green. Sammy pushed aside a few branches, and together they squeezed through to the other side. To their surprise, the path led into a small, hidden garden. The garden was full of bright flowers, red, yellow, purple, and blue. There were tall sunflowers, tiny daisies, and even a patch of wild strawberries. Sammy's eyes grew wide with wonder. "Wow, Witty. This place is magical," Sammy whispered. Witty sniffed the air and wagged his tail. He found a butterfly and gently followed it, as it danced from flower to flower. Sammy took out his notebook and drew a picture of the garden, making sure to add Witty and the butterfly. As they explored, Sammy and Witty heard a soft buzzing sound. They followed it and found a family of bees working hard to collect nectar from the flowers. Sammy watched quietly, remembering what he had learned about bees at school. "Bees are important, Witty. They help the flowers grow," he said softly. Next, they found a small pond hidden behind some tall reeds. The water was clear and still. Sammy and Witty sat by the edge and watched as a family of ducks floated by. The ducklings paddled after their mother, making tiny ripples in the water. Witty wagged his tail and barked gently, not wanting to scare them away. Sammy took out an apple slice and shared it with Witty. As they snacked, they listened to the gentle sounds of the garden, the buzzing bees, the quacking ducks, and the rustling leaves. After their snack, Sammy noticed something shiny near a pile of rocks. He walked over and found a smooth, round stone that sparkled in the sunlight. It was painted with bright colors and had a smiley face on it. "Look, Witty. Someone must have painted this rock and left it here for others to find. Isn't it nice?" Sammy said, showing the rock to his dog. Witty sniffed the rock and gave a happy bark. Sammy decided to leave the rock where he found it, so someone else could discover it too. As they continued their adventure, Sammy and Witty heard a soft meowing sound. They looked around and spotted a little gray kitten stuck in a bush. The kitten looked scared and couldn't get out. "Oh no, Witty. We have to help," Sammy said. Sammy carefully reached into the bush and gently lifted the kitten out. The kitten purred and rubbed its head against Sammy's hand. Witty wagged his tail and sniffed the kitten, making sure it was okay. "You're safe now, little kitten," Sammy said kindly. He looked around and saw a small collar with a tag that said Misty. Sammy remembered seeing a gray cat named Misty who lived a few houses down. "Let's take Misty home, Witty," Sammy said. He picked up the kitten and, with Witty by his side, followed the path back out of the garden and through the bushes. They walked down the street to Misty's house. When they knocked on the door, Misty's owner, Mrs. Green, opened it and gasped with happiness. "Oh, thank you, Sammy. I was so worried about Misty. You and Witty are heroes," Mrs. Green said, giving Sammy a warm hug and Witty a gentle pat. Sammy felt proud, and Witty wagged his tail even faster. "We're always happy to help," Sammy said with a smile. After saying goodbye, Sammy and Witty walked back home, feeling happy and a little tired from their adventure. They went inside, washed their hands and paws, and sat down to rest. Sammy looked at Witty and said, "Today was such a special day, Witty. We found a secret garden, made new friends, and helped someone in need. I'm so glad you're my best friend." Witty curled up next to Sammy and gave a soft, contented sigh. The sun was setting, painting the sky with shades of pink and orange. Sammy and Witty watched the colors change, feeling peaceful and safe. As night fell, Sammy got ready for bed. He brushed his teeth, put on his pajamas, and climbed under his cozy blanket. Witty jumped up and snuggled beside him, resting his head on Sammy's pillow. Sammy closed his eyes and whispered, "Good night, Witty. I can't wait for our next adventure." Witty wagged his tail one last time before drifting off to sleep. Good night, little dreamers. May your dreams be filled with hidden gardens, kind friends, and the magic of every day, just like Sammy and Witty's. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to Fuzzy Fable Factory for more gentle bedtime adventures. Sweet dreams, and see you next time.